for peace and happiness of the whole humanity. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna's profound teachings on our spiritual life have been given in the Gospel. So, it is there, we have to make use of them. Sri Ramakrishna has shown through his own life how one should be able to reach the goal in this human life itself. What is needed is intense eagerness for God realization. Sri Ramakrishna, how much he underwent tremendous spiritual austerities. The whole life was dedicated in order to realize the supreme truth. He would not waste a single moment. He would feel every moment is very auspicious, very valuable, and he wanted to make best use of the time. So, throughout day and night, he just immersed himself in so much spiritual activity. He could not pay attention to his body as such. His hairs had become long. They became matted. At the time of meditation, Sri Ramakrishna's body used to become motionless like the trunk of a tree. Sri Ramakrishna, he became so much restless for the vision of the Divine Mother. So he would feel tremendous separation from the Divine. So he would rub his face against ground so vehemently that it got cut and bruised and bled in many parts. He had no consciousness. How the whole day slipped away in prayer, meditation, devotional exercises. And afterwards, at the approach of the evening, conch shells were blown and bells rung in the temple. Sri Ramakrishna would remember that the day was at an end. Another day had passed in vain. He had not yet seen the Divine Mother. So he became intensely grieved because he had not yet have the vision of the Mother. So he would throw himself out on the ground, crying to the Mother, "O Mother, you have not shown yourself to me yet." Sri Ramakrishna filled the quarters with wailing and struggled on account of pain. So the result of that intense spiritual activity finally gave the fruit of realization. And Sri Ramakrishna remarked, people shed floods of tears at the death of their family members or at the loss of worldly possessions. But who does so because he or she has not realized God? Yet they say, we called on God so much and still he did not show himself. Sri Ramakrishna throws a challenge. Let them but once weep for God with such eagerness, and let me see whether God refrains from revealing himself. Sri Ramakrishna was very clear and very certain that God will surely respond if the aspirant is really earnest in realizing God. He threw this challenge because Sri Ramakrishna himself was an exemplar of the eagerness and knew its certain result. He saw it, he had the vision of the Divine Mother. So it is not a lie. So he began to cry for the spiritual aspirants so that he would make them engage in spiritual sadhanas so that they could realize the truth. So, eagerness, intense eagerness for God realization, we must cherish. Their life is meant for God realization, for nothing else. Be very definite about it. Simply people talk compromising this way, that way. It's all simply deceiving oneself. You are born in this world just to realize God, not for anything else. So that point has been made very clear by Sri Ramakrishna. So, Sri Ramakrishna has made this point clear that every human being has the divine potentiality within. Rather, the only objective of human life is God realization. Such being the case, whatever we do towards the goal will not be in vain. Since God or Brahman is the only reality, we are bound to succeed ultimately. Sri Ramakrishna was not dogmatic. He said, in effect, I have realized God. You too can. This gives us hope, irresistible hope. We should not give up our efforts if we don't succeed in the beginning, but continue them with redoubled energy until success is attained. Succeed we must. So Sri Ramakrishna focused our importance on practice. If you do practice, you will certainly get the desired result. It is bound to come. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, practice what? Practice discrimination. Using your discrimination, you shall find that the body of the most beautiful person is just made up of only a flesh and blood, skin and bones, fat and marrow. As in the case of all animals, in urine, excreta and the rest. The wonder is that one can lose sight of God and give his mind to such things. There we should be very cautious. There is no use of crying afterwards. So Sri Ramakrishna is warning. What is it that obstructs you on your way to realization? It is nothing but distraction of the mind. And second point, Sri Ramakrishna says that be very sure, be very certain that God and God alone is real and not money. Money gives us food. It gives us clothing. And it gives us a place to live in. Thus far it is useful. And no further. Surely you can't see God with the help of money. So money is certainly not the end of life. So this is the process of discrimination. You must initiate yourself properly in such type of thinking rigorously, sincerely. Then again Sri Ramakrishna says, practice. What next? Vairagya. That is renunciation. When you discriminate the things going on in this world, how they are distracting the mind, you should be able to renounce the objects of the world because they are unreal, because they are permanent, because they are diverting your mind away from God. So you should totally reject them and direct your mind to God alone, who is real. And Sri Ramakrishna knows very well that Vivek and Vairagya do not come all of a sudden. They have to be practiced daily. So he is focusing us on the value of practice. The result depends upon practice. Practice not in an irregular way. It should be practiced regularly, steadily, with dedication, with determination. Continuous practice brings extraordinary power to the mind. Then one feels no difficulty in subjugating the senses, passions, and even lust. It is like a tortoise that never stretches out its limbs. It has drawn them in. Even if you were to cut it to pieces, it would never stretch them out. So, first you have to practice discrimination. Along with that, you must practice renunciation. Along with that, Sri Ramakrishna says further, you must practice brahmacharya or continence. Unless one practices absolute continence, one cannot comprehend the subtle truths of spirituality. The reason why Sri Ramakrishna took special care to mold the spiritual lives of youths was pointed out by him on many occasions. Sri Ramakrishna said, the perfect realization of God can never be attained if one does not apply one's whole mind to it. And he was referring to the young boys who were coming to him. He said, the minds of these boys have not become distracted by any worldly affairs. So, if they try now, they can offer their whole minds to God and be blessed by His vision. That's why I have a greater zeal in guiding them on the path of spiritual realization. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. Whenever Sri Ramakrishna found an opportunity, he took each of the boys to a secluded place and instructed him in the higher methods of spiritual realization, such as yoga, meditation, and all such practices, and advised them to practice perfect continence by not entering into matrimony. Don't think the whole creation would stop if you don't marry. Stop all such foolish notions. Creation will continue. Well, then Sri Ramakrishna says, how one should be practicing it. You can't get immediately the result what you wanted. But Sri Ramakrishna says, practice brahmacharya according to your capacity. So Sri Ramakrishna is touching the cardinal principles for spiritual life. It doesn't mean that Sri Ramakrishna had less grace or less compassionate towards householders. It's not so. But then, if he did not ask them to practice and study the higher spiritual truths, it was because he knew that Many of these householders had no time or capacity to do so. All the same, Sri Ramakrishna constantly guided them also. He encouraged them to observe continence according to their capacity. Husband and wife, Sri Ramakrishna observed, should offer their minds to God and live in the world like brother and sister after one or two children are born. How he would enthuse the household devotee becomes clear when he would say that God thought, it is no small credit on the part of this man that he can turn me in spite of so heavy a burden lying on his shoulders. This man is indeed a hero among devotees. The next point of practice, where we should give full attention, is towards truth. Truthfulness is the tapasya of this age. Those who are working in offices and even those who are engaged in business should hold on to truth. Unless one sticks to truth, one cannot find God, who is the soul of truth. So, Sri Ramakrishna, through his own life and through his teachings, unto the last, he helped all the spiritual aspirants in the spiritual path. Sri Ramakrishna himself, during his lifetime, seemed to have encouraged such a spirit of inquiry among his intimate disciples. He used to ask the disciples now and then what they thought about him. Sri Ramakrishna would say, what do you think of me? We find in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the Master asking Yam, let me ask you something. What do you think of me? How many annas of knowledge of God have I? This question, it looks very simple at the outset. It has got tremendous significance. There was a twofold purpose in asking this question. In the first place, the answer he got from the disciple, from Yam, gave him an insight into the working of the disciple's mind and an understanding of the latter's belief pattern. Secondly, the question was calculated to stimulate the disciple's mind to make an effort to understand the person whom he adored and keep his relation with him an ever fresh and conscious experience. True love never becomes static, conditioned or stale. It's always a fresh and conscious experience involving the total personality. This becomes possible only when love is based on understanding and the lover constantly encounters his beloved afresh. The vast majority of people lose touch with reality because they allow themselves to drift with the stream of life. A true spiritual person, on the contrary, encounters life and confronts reality every moment of his life. Devotees often run the risk of taking their relationship with their chosen ideals for granted. They often remain satisfied with the thought that they already possess enough love for their chosen ideals. Similarly, meditation is often attempted with the assumption that the object of their meditation is known to them. If they know all about their objects of meditation, why should they meditate on them at all? This kind of presumption, which is born of ignorance, destroys the initiative for seeking the truth and blocks the path of progress. That's why the Upanishad says, truth is known to him to whom it is unknown. Beautiful passage. He does not know to whom it is known. It is unknown to those who know well and known to those who do not know. Kenopanishad. Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya navedasaha avijñātam vijānatam vijñātam avijānatam. Sanskrit verse from the Kenopanishad. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, the devotees who come here may be divided into two groups. One group says, "Oh God, give me liberation." Another group belonging to the inner circle doesn't talk that way. They are satisfied if they can know two things. Who I am, meaning Sri Ramakrishna. Second, who they are and what their relationship to me is. It is said in the Gospel. This is an important statement which comes to Swami Vivekananda's definition of true religion as the eternal relationship between the eternal soul and the eternal God. The relationship between the devotee and his chosen ideal becomes eternal only when it is based on true knowledge of the real nature of the worshipper and the object of worship. So, well, is it easy to understand Sri Ramakrishna? When we try to undertake such an inquiry, who is Sri Ramakrishna, we come to the surprising discovery that apart from some factual information about the external activities of Sri Ramakrishna during his brief lifespan, he largely remains unknown. We don't really know the being who lived on earth as Sri Ramakrishna. Even when we try to analyze the known facts of his life on earth, we come face to face with a mystery almost at every step. An aura of mystery surrounds Sri Ramakrishna's life right from his birth. According to his biographers, before Sri Ramakrishna was born, his father had a dream at Gaya in which the deity Vishnu appeared before Kshudiram, the father, and told him that he would soon be born as his son. Meanwhile, Sri Ramakrishna's mother, Chandramani Devi, wife of Kshudiram, had a wonderful spiritual experience at her native village Kamarpakor. One day, while standing before a temple of Lord Shiva, she saw a flood of celestial light issuing from the image and entering her person, and soon she began to feel that she was with child. Now this raises the interesting question, whose manifestation Sri Ramakrishna really was, whether of Vishnu or of Shiva? Or was it a case of religious harmony right in the mother's womb? His boyhood was full of mysterious experiences and events. Practically, the whole of his youth was spent in spiritual practices. the intensity, the diversity, and amplitude of which have no parallel. Those who came to teach him remained to adore him. The halo of divinity that Sri Ramakrishna radiated was patent enough to even some of the great scholars of the day, who openly declared him to be an incarnation of God. He drew his disciples and devotees towards him with an irresistible power. And to each of them he revealed himself in a different way. His patron Mathur Babu saw in Sri Ramakrishna Shiva and Kali. To his teacher Bhairavi Brahmani and some household disciples, Sri Ramakrishna was seen as Sri Gauranga Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To the great lady devotee known as Gopala's mother, Sri Ramakrishna was seen as Sri Krishna. Swami Vivekananda saw in Sri Ramakrishna the fulfillment of his ideals. Once he had an experience in which Swami Vivekananda saw Sri Ramakrishna as Gopi Radha, and this profoundly influenced Swami Vivekananda's life. In the sacred shrine of Jagannath at Puri, Swami Turyananda, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, had a vision of Sri Ramakrishna as that deity. Swami Shivananda saw Sri Ramakrishna as Shiva in a vision which he had at Benares. Swami Abhedananda had a wonderful spiritual experience in which he saw all the great incarnations and deities merging in the person of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna is a reservoir of great spiritual power, and he creates with himself as the center a field of spiritual forces. Whoever is drawn into the field by the irresistible will of the incarnation spontaneously gets illumination and freedom. This is essentially how Swami Vivekananda explains the doctrines of incarnation and grace. So, we are studying that Sri Ramakrishna. His teachings are immortal teachings. So, God is extremely gracious. He has given all these instructions. And the methods to practice. So, we have to put forth our effort, struggle properly, and get the result of realization. Master, page 752, said smilingly to Mahendra, "First come to Dakshineshwar, then I shall press your limbs to see where your twists are. Why don't you come?" Mahendra said, "Because of the pressure of my duties, besides I have to go to my country home now and then." Master, to Mahendra, pointing his finger at the devotees, "Have they no homes or dwelling places? Have they no duties? How is it that they come?" To Hari, Sri Ramakrishna said, "Why haven't you come to Dakshineshwar? Is your wife living with you?" Hari said, "No, sir." Then Master said, "Then why did you forget me?" Hari answered, "I have not been well, sir." Master said to the devotees, "He looks thin. He has no small measure of bhakti. He is overflowing with it. But it is of a rather troublesome nature." Laughter. Sri Ramakrishna used to address a certain devotee's wife by the name of Habib's mother. Her brother, a college student, aged about 20, was there. He stood up, ready to go and play cricket. His younger brother, named Dvija, was also a devotee of the master. Both brothers left the room. A few minutes later, Dvija returned. The master said, "Why didn't you go?" A devotee answered, "He wants to hear the music. Perhaps that's why he has come back." Trailokya, the Brahmo devotee, was to sing for the master. Paltu arrived. The master said, "Who is this?" "Oh, it is Paltu." Purna, another young devotee, also arrived. It was with great difficulty that Sri Ramakrishna had managed to have him come. His relatives strongly objected to his visiting the master. Purna was a student in the 5th grade of the school where Yam taught. The boy prostrated himself before Sri Ramakrishna. The master seated him by his side and was talking to him in a low voice. Yam alone was sitting near them. The other devotees were talking about various things. Girish, sitting on the other side of the room, was reading a life of Keshav. Master said to Purna, "Come nearer." Girish said to Yam, "Who is this boy?" Yam was afraid that others might notice the boy. This would make trouble for him at home, and Yam would be responsible for it. Yam said sharply, "Don't you see he's a boy?" Girish said smilingly, "I need no ghost to tell me that." The master and the boy were talking in low tones. Master said, "Do you practice what I asked you to?" Purna said, "Yes, sir." Master, "Do you dream? Do you dream of a flame, a lighted torch, a married woman, a cremation ground? It is good to dream of these things." Purna answered, "I dreamt of you. You were seated and were telling me something." Master, "What? Some instructions? Tell me some of it." Purna said, "I don't remember now." Master said, "Never mind, but it's very good. You will make progress. You feel attracted to me, don't you?" A few minutes later, Sri Ramakrishna said to the boy, "Won't you come there?" He meant Dakshineshwar. "I can't promise," answered the boy. Master said, "Why? Doesn't one of your relatives live there?" Purna said, "Yes, sir, but it won't be very convenient for me to go." Girish was reading a life of Keshav written by Trailokya of the Brahmo Samaj. In it, Trailokya said that at first Sri Ramakrishna had been very much opposed to the world, but that after meeting Keshav he had changed his mind and had come to believe that one could lead a spiritual life in the world as well. Several devotees had told the master about this. They wanted to discuss it with Trailokya. Those passages in the book had been read to the master. Noticing the book in Girish's hand, Sri Ramakrishna said to Girish, M, Ram and other devotees, those people are busy with the world. That's why they set such a high values on worldly life. They are drowned in lust and gold. One doesn't talk that way after realizing God. After enjoying divine bliss, one looks on the world as crow droppings. At the very outset, I utterly renounced everything. Not only did I renounce the company of worldly people, but now and then the company of devotees as well. I noticed that the devotees were dropping dead one by one, and that made my heart writhe with pain. But now I keep one or two of them with me. Girish left for home, saying he would come back. Trailokya arrived with Jai Gopal Sen. They bowed before Master and sat down. He inquired about their health. The younger Naren entered the room and saluted Sri Ramakrishna. The Master said to him, "Why didn't you see me last Saturday?" Trailokya was ready to sing. Master said, "Ah, you sang that day about the blissful mother. How sweetly you sang. Other songs seemed insipid to me. That day I didn't enjoy even Narendra's singing. Why don't you sing those same songs again?" Trailokya sang, "Victory to Gora, Shachi's son. Hail, abode of every virtue. Touchstone of love, ocean of bliss. Man's bewitcher, beauteous of form. Enchanting the eye like shining gold. His slender arms that reach to the knee, graceful and long as lotus stalks, are lovingly stretched to all mankind. His lotus face of matchless beauty overflows with the nectar of love. His cheeks are covered with curling hair, alight with heavenly love. His beauty charms the eyes, beaming with fervor, radiant with bliss, his body trembling with Hari's joy. Gauranga, the golden, dances like a mad elephant, shaking in all his limbs with the frenzy of love. Gauranga, singer of Hari's glories, prize of every sadhu's heart. The rarest of men, the ocean of love, embraces the outcast, calls him brother, takes him in his arms, in fervent love. He dances with both his arms upraised and sings Hari's name. The tears are streaming down his cheeks. He weeps, he cries, he trembles, roars and rages, saying, "Where is Hari, the jewel of my heart?" The hair on his limbs is standing on end. Like a kadamba flower is his body. Covered with dust he rolls on the ground. O thou, the abode of Hari's Leela, fountainhead of love's elixir, friend of the helpless, glory of Bhanga. Hail Chaitanya, thou who shinest bright as a moon in the Bhakta's heart. Sri Ramakrishna left the room for a minute. The women devotees were seated near the screen. They were eager to see Sri Ramakrishna. Trailokya went on with his music. We shall stop here. Coming to Sri Ramakrishna means stepping into spiritual life. That's the essence of my theme today. Sri Ramakrishna said, practice earnestly Viveka, Vairagya, Brahmacharya, Satya. That's all. Once you are in the vicinity of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna will take care of everything about you. That is certain. Any question? No. There is no question, only to practice, that's all. Question, there is no end of questions. Questions do exist as long as the mind is there. That's the nature of the mind, to question. But question to a certain degree is good. Everything has got its value, used in a proper way. Questioning indiscriminately has no value. And we shall stop. Anything else? Do you have any question? No. Sounds sane, huh? Shomitra. You have told me many times, still I... Very good. We shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant. O sweet one, in thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.